Here we are, the Delaware River Trail in Bridesburg. Hold on, let me kick up the engine on the e-bike. We're going for a bike ride, and today, I kind of feel like this is going to be an update on some news stories in Philadelphia. I'm also going to show you, part of this video, it's going to get kind of ugly. We're going to go into Kensington. We're going to talk about Kensington stuff. But there are good things. And I know there's a lot of videos on YouTube. And you'll go to Kensington and you'll see all the bad stuff. And that's all you think Philadelphia is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little bit of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Over here, this is the Amazon warehouse. It's being built in my neighborhood. Let me put the pedal assist on, cuz. Come on, I'm like breathing heavy. I got the e-bike here. It's brought to you by the Mayfair Business Improvement District. Give them a follow on Facebook. Let me go slow it down. These Amazon warehouses are all over my neighborhood. I think there are 5, maybe 6 if you count the one behind the Walmart on Aramingo Ave. So we got 6 Amazon warehouses coming. But look at this. This is exciting. Brand new park coming to the city of Philadelphia. Right here. The Riverfront Park in Bridesburg. It's almost done. It's locked up today. But if you go back here, you can take a little sneak peek at the park. That's the parking lot of the park. Over here, on that side, there's a small walking trail. And this is the closest access Bridesburg residents will have to the Delaware River legally. That should be opening soon. They're getting real close. The trees are getting planted. The parking lot is paved. I'm excited for it. Yeah, we don't really have many legal spots to go fishing by the river. If you live here, there's some spots. There we go. Some of them are by the Betsy Ross Bridge. You got a spot down here on Allegheny Avenue. This is the Delaware River Bike Trail. You could take this and go all the way to South Philadelphia, the Walmart in South Philadelphia. I don't know why you would go there, but you can. Over there, that's the Betsy Ross Bridge. Takes you over to New Jersey. That bridge is $6. There are... Oh, too fast. Let me go down. There we go. There are other bridges, like the Tacony-Palmyra Bridge, which is $4. What makes the Betsy Ross Bridge better than the Tacony Bridge is it never opens because of how high it is. But the worst thing about the Betsy Ross Bridge, it's extremely high. There's another bridge called the Walt Whitman Bridge. That's even high. I hate the Walt Whitman Bridge. My good friend Oscar, he lives over the Walt Whitman Bridge. And sometimes I'll take the Ben Franklin. I'd rather drive over to Ben Franklin than the Walt Whitman. Because heights scare me. Before 9/11, you were able to walk your dog back here at the Betsy Ross Bridge. But then after 9/11, they locked up all these bridges for security reasons. Back here is, if you go down here, it's too late now. But if you go down this pier, that's overgrown already. If you go down there at low tide, you will find headstones that were supposed to be smashed up and used for riprap to protect the bridge. And you got to go. It's definitely high tide. This is also a fishing spot. Now back here, this is the last street in Philadelphia. This is Delaware Ave. Over here is the Port of Philadelphia. Right here, the Phila Port. Not too long ago, the port workers went on strike. Yeah, I think they were somewhere around here. They had like a big they were on strike for a few days. That got settled rather quickly. Getting close to Richmond and Allegheny Avenue, they have all these. I always just assume it's oil and gasoline in here. I don't know. What is inside these wells or drums? What are these things and what's inside them? Inquiring mind wants to know. Because it smells funny around here. Also, I think there's a dump somewhere around. The dump's back there, but it doesn't smell dumpy. It smells chemically. Ivan Putski Park, which is back here. Richmond, Allegheny. This is another one of those fishing spots. Now, they do check for fishing licenses here. It's one of the reasons why I never go fishing is because I don't want to get a license. I got better things to do. I don't even know where. I guess you get them at Walmart. Here it is. It's General Polanski Park. But growing up in this neighborhood in the 80s, Polish Power, Ivan Putski. Who remembers Ivan Putski? Polish Power. His son, what was his son's name? I'll give you 4 seconds. His son's name was Meat. He wrestled in the WWE. Here we go. We got some guys fishing. And then Meat got fired from the WWE for video or recording conversations without other wrestlers knowing about it. Kind of un-Polish Power-like. When I was a child, Allegheny Avenue, I would say we're now in Port Richmond, right? This is a neighborhood I spent probably like 4 to about 18. I spent my time in this neighborhood. All right, because I lived here. That's why I spent my time here. I wasn't a prisoner. This park's always here. I always, me and my friends would spend time in these abandoned railroad piers. And there's one about 3 or 4 piers in. It was called Pebble Beach. We used to go there. And down here, this is a filming location of the turnaround. We filmed the scene right here at the river with Stewie. We didn't use it. It was a cold day in March. They had me standing in the river. Matter of fact, I think that picture was used as the Emmy announcement. I think that director Kyle really liked that scene. We never used anything from it in the movie. But he, whenever he posts his, my English teacher, I tell you, he watches this channel. Anyway, I think he really liked the way the shots came out that day, where we were down by the river with Stewie, the one-eyed Chihuahua. They wanted me to bring Stewie, because he's easier to handle than Rick the puppy. There we go. All right. There it is, Ivan Putski Park, back on the river trail. This is Moncavage Playground. Used to be known as Richmond Playground. A year ago, there was a pretty big homeless encampment in here. Maybe on the low side, and I'm being very, very, very low on this number. Maybe 10 people. On the high side, there could have been about 40 people living here. And then recently, the city kicked everybody out. No, not recently, a few months ago. Down here in this alleyway, there was a lot of tents. Under this highway, there was a few tents. It's illegal to camp anywhere in the city of Philadelphia. It's illegal to pop up a tent anywhere in the city and like camp there overnight. And then the city just started passing a bunch of laws making it so you can't put up a tent anywhere in the city, especially the Kensington corridor, which is like Kensington Ave and that whole area. So you have people coming to Port Richmond, kind of, a lot of people are looking for tents in Kensington, and people are hiding in these playgrounds in Port Richmond that are shut down because they're covered in lead. Sometimes people are living in the playground equipment. There's the sign, Moncavage Playground. Back there was a pool and a tennis court. Across the street was another Wawa. I posted a video yesterday Not sure when you're watching this, but a lot of the Wawas that aren't gas stations, they're closing down. And that's another one. That's been closed for a while. But also people like walk their dogs in this park. And usually the homeless encampments are back in that corner or on the other side of the highway. Here's a Port Richmond business. Burnsy's Tavern. Very good wings. Irish-style pub. Yeah, and a while ago, you had a big encampment of people here. Now, I'm not... I'm just telling you what I've seen in the last 6 months. I'm not condemning homeless people. They need to exist. Well, they don't need to exist. They exist, and they need to go somewhere. What I'm showing you is how the city is handling it. You got people sitting here, sometimes at the end of the highway. You know, people panhandling. And then the encampments were on the side of the highway. Right down there. And they fenced in that portion of the highway to prevent people from setting tents back up. I drive past this sign all the time, and I always... How the hell did it get here? Because it wasn't here before. It was back near the highway. I love this sign. Right next to the train tracks. Yeah, Port Richmond is a neighborhood in the river wards. One of the things people always comment about is my voice and my accent. And a lot of people think my accent is Delco, which is the suburbs south of Philadelphia. But actually, I have a River Wards accent. And I have a lot of friends my age who I've been friends with for 4 decades. And we all talk like mutants. It's a Fishtown, Port Richmond, parts of Kensington. Yeah, we talk bad. Here it is. Appliance TVs. Shut down. Not open. I don't know where the hell I buy a washer and dryer now to fit in my basement. These houses they're row homes. That's what they're, if you're not from these parts, houses are connected, right? Some houses have a private alleyway. Some don't. Here's a house for sale on Richmond Street. We have 3163 Richmond. What's it going for? Let me know in the comments. We got like a little music store opening up here on Richmond Street. This is the old Polish supermarket. I always say this when I go by, but it's such a cool story. Robin Williams was doing a movie called Moscow on the Hudson. And in that movie, he played an immigrant. I think he was from Russia. But he spent the day in this supermarket in the 80s at the height of Mork and Mindy. And he just watched the immigrants and how they interacted with one another. When you would go into this supermarket back in the day, they would have a picture of Robin Williams sitting in this supermarket. Here it is. This is the block I grew up on. Spent the majority of my childhood from 4th grade to high school. Lived at this house right here. This house was just for sale. The house next door to my old house. Right here, 2548 Ann Street. Alice, John, and Sophia lived there. What's it going for? Let me know. Alice and John were great. Very, very nice block. It's quiet. One of the things that sucks, my friend Bob used to live on this block. If you watch my videos, Bob's the guy who hates penguins at Christmas time. Bob lived across the street down this block. And the one thing that sucked is sometimes foul balls would hit your car. And then they break your window. Oh, the new baseball field. It's already... There's the new baseball field at Cahock's. This whole playground is getting a facelift. Spent a lot of time in this playground. Over there is Cahock's pool. Man, the playground looks great. See, this is a good side. 2 new playgrounds. And this is, we have a thing called the Philadelphia soda tax. And a lot of the money from the soda tax is received for the playgrounds. I don't think I said that sentence properly. This is kick-ass. It's so much better than what I had as a kid. When I was a kid, we had, I think it was like just a metal pole and like a thin black mat that when it was like when it was hot in the summertime, it was too hot to stand on. And also, it wasn't really any padding. It was just like, I don't know, it was more to protect the pavement than to protect the kids. Yes, going for $3.09 at Aramingo and Somerset. That seems kind of low. That seems lower than, I think I paid $3.29 the other day. I'm going on to Lehigh Avenue, and this is going to be the news story for Kensington that I'm going to talk about. City Council passed a law on Thursday. Today is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to those who celebrate. But City Council passed a law, and it's not signed in the law yet, so it's not official yet, but it passed. We're just waiting for the mayor's autograph. And what they're going to be doing, hold on, right here. Did you just realize it's Mother's Day? Well, lucky for you, there's vans all along the avenue to buy flowers and teddy bears. Over here, St. Anne's Church. So this new law is going to ban mobile hospitals from going up and down Kensington Avenue. And it's only going to allow people to provide service mostly in this parking lot. Now, there's going to be people that you can go up and down the Ave, but you can only set up for like 45 minutes. And then you got to go somewhere else in the neighborhood at least 1,000 feet away. Right here, before Frankfort and Lehigh, you have the pump house. And then over here are the apartments or luxury condos and townhouses. I don't know what they are. They're like skinny row homes. The Kensington Courts, and they were going, I think they were selling for $300,000. And then across the street, you got the Save-A-Lot supermarket. And this is, you can see Kensington Avenue, right? That big building all the way at the back of the street. It's 4 blocks. And these houses were, I guess they were built within the last 7 years. So within like the last 10 years, property just started going skyrocketing, the property values, which is weird because I remember 15 years ago, you were able to buy properties around Kensington and Somerset for $8,000. Now, 15 years ago, Kensington and Somerset was pretty much hell on earth. You had, it's still bad today, but it was really, really bad. And it's still, like, it's not that much better. There's a mile marker, a historic mile marker. I think you're 3 miles or 4 miles from Independence Hall when you see that. That right there is Frankfort Ave. That's a historic street. I always point it out. Now, this is Lehigh Avenue. I did a video recently, and I asked you guys what the value of the home is. And one of these houses are going for like $350,000. And I want you to take note of the front steps and how you have to carry if you go grocery shopping. Like, doesn't that stink? How do you do furniture? 2002 Lehigh Avenue. What's it going for? Let me know in the comments. So this is the parking lot. The city is going to offer mobile hospitals to go up and down Kensington Ave. If they do that now, if they go up and down Kensington Ave, they will be able to give people service here. To me, it seems like anybody who offers any type of service, and I feel like that means food and water, not just medical needs. Today is Sunday. If you go down Kensington Ave, on Sunday, usually you'll have church groups handing out food and bottles of water, and I'm not sure if that's going to be affected. But right now, everybody is going to be here at this parking lot. So it has to be this parking lot. And what you have at this parking lot that's Temple University. That's the Episcopal Hospital campus. There is a church. There are row homes right there. There is a school or a preschool or a daycare. They're all over this neighborhood. The council person say that it's a good idea for it to be here. That way, the city knows what people are given. Also, one of the things, when people are given food in styrofoam containers, you'll see litter and trash all up and down the avenue. So if everything's contained to one area, it might prevent a lot of the litter. This is what the city council person from Kensington said.
Things will change in Kensington. This legislation is just the beginning of difficult decisions that we are going to have to make in order to take our community back, in order to make our community a healthy one.
Yeah, at the community center here, I think this is the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, and they're having like a crawfish cookout, and somebody's really doing some fantastic karaoke. And if you don't know, fantastic karaoke is the really bad kind. Right here, this is the house or the block where Rocky used to live. They put this new mural up on Tusculum Street, and they're building new properties on Tusculum Street, which is outrageous because I've seen some crazy stuff go on that street. We're coming up to Kensington this summer, so I'm trying to see if I can find a mobile hospital. It is incredibly horrible at Kensington and Somerset. There is the abandoned lot where I used to feed the chickens is just covered with people just doing the Kensington lean. We are now in McPherson Square. Now, one of the reasons why they picked, oh my God, the pavement in this park is horrible. One of the reasons they picked that location is to get people away from this park. They also want to get people away from Kensington and Allegheny because there's a few schools, but there are also schools where they want to move. There are at least 15 to 20 people out front of Needle Park, McPherson Square. And the sad part about all those people being there is right here, you have this beautiful playground in this park, and you don't have anybody using it. It's a beautiful day. Now we're on Allegheny Avenue. Uh-oh. That's important. Now, usually there is a mobile hospital parked here on Allegheny Avenue, and it's called Kensington Hospital, but I don't see it today. Again, I try not to. You got to take my word for it when I'm telling you there's people lining every block. There's at least 10 people passed out, nodding out. Now back here, this is Hilton Street. And for the longest time, this was a spot where people would just camp. There was a drugstore here, Walgreens, and that closed recently. A lot of the drugstores are closing around here. On the ground, we have a bunch of burn marks from campfires when people just can't others. And it's Sunday. Every time I come down here, there are always people cleaning up the neighborhood. Always. Every day you got street sweepers. You got people cleaning up with what do they call it? Leaf blowers. And they clean up the neighborhood every day. You know why they have to do that? Is they don't have any trash cans down here. So people just throw shit on the ground. And I've been saying it for 5 years. The mental trauma that these kids are that they've gone through, walking past people dying every day, I'm sure that has to do something to you psychologically. It can't make you like humanity too much. Oh, that's pretty. That's the thing I've been screaming about for the last however many years. It's just like, what about these kids? Well, everybody's worried about the people who are high on drugs, but nobody's talking about these kids who are actual residents of this city. The people who are strung out in drugs, I don't know what the statistic is, but a lot of them aren't even from Philadelphia or Pennsylvania. It's just there's such... Philadelphia is known, or Kensington Ave is known just to be the place to go if you want to get some really crazy stuff. And I saw a beautiful story about a woman and her child who were living in a homeless shelter for 3 years. Somebody bought these properties here at Frankfurt and Orleans, which have been abandoned. Matter of fact, there's 4 abandoned properties right there. Those are all abandoned. But somebody bought these houses right here, and the mother and child now live in these homes. And they have a house in... there's some stores. And the video on Channel 6 is absolutely so adorable. The child seeing her refrigerator for the first time. I kind of just been riding around the little back streets off of Kensington Ave. And, you see a few people doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. You got a few people leaning over. But I'm going to tell you, most of the things I'm seeing, I have a lot of families sitting out on their porch, people barbecuing, doing cookouts for Mother's Day. I'll show you a filming location. You ever see the movie Rocky Balboa? Right here. This is the house where little Marie lived for Rocky Balboa. Right here. I don't know what street I'm on. There it is. Sylvester Stallone stood on those steps and he said, "Let there be light." And then right across this lot where those houses are being built, right there on the other side, that's Rocky's apartment from Rocky 1. This little portion of Kensington, right off of Kensington and Somerset, I always am impressed on how, quiet it is. Because it's just, if you go 2 blocks away, it's pure chaos. Now we're on the back street. This is Emerald. We're getting close to Emerald and Lehigh. And usually on these back little streets here, you'll have people gathered. And you do. Got a bunch of people down that street. Yeah, it's... I don't know. I think what this is going to do is it's going to make people... It's going to make people camp out closer to that location at Kensington and Lehigh. Or be in Lehigh. This... back on the day in Kensington Ave, there was a cheesesteak place. I think it was called Billy's. And they used to have a knight in shining armor in front of their cheesesteak shop. And my question is that the knight in armor from Billy's? Seems like it's about the right size. Am I even thinking of the right name? I think it was at Kensington and Cambria. All right. Going over the Tusculum Street Bridge. Back in the day, everybody was camped up in these railroad tracks. They just recently built that U-Haul storage place. We're coming up to Somerset Street. And here's another filming location from Rocky Balboa. Right here on this building. And this is the Kensington and Somerset L-stop. Man, it's so bad around here. I mean, if you look, there's a cop sitting there. Holy shit. This is McPherson Square, Kensington, New Orleans. Lately, it's been kind of empty when I come down here. But today, it's pretty crowded. And, you know, I've been looking for church groups today, and I haven't seen any. Right here, this is my old grade school. This is where I had art and home economics and wood shop. And then across the street, if you ever saw Rocky Balboa, these houses right here. Oh no, Rocky's house is boarded up. I think I knew that. They might be destroying the house that Rocky last lived in. A lot of people. He had a house down the street in Tusculum Street, but during the Rocky Balboa movie, he lived on Emerald, right? This is Emerald. This is a space on Allegheny Avenue. There was a church here a few weeks ago, caught on fire. Burned it down. And now the lot is for sale. I'm not sure if the lot was on sale before the fire. But, all right, getting ready to go on the other side of the tracks. These railroad tracks, there's some people living up there too. And then you usually have some people hanging out doing some bad things down that alleyway. Oh, look, a half a Batmobile. Philadelphia's former mayor, Jim Kenney, is a pile of garbage who did nothing for our city. And District Attorney Larry Krasner is running for re-election very soon, in May. And the only election that counts is the primary election, because there isn't a Republican running this election. So he always wins his elections because people don't show up to vote. So if there's time to change parties and vote, why not? Who cares? Change back after the election, because it's the only election that matters this election cycle. And unlike other elections, this one really, really affects you, because this guy makes the laws, and he makes it so, you know, he's a dick. I don't want to get too technical. He's a dick. So if you can, please vote against Larry Krasner. And that's it. I'm done. Goodbye.